Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to defeat Zamorak, Lord of Chaos, at 0 in range. And the strategies that I'm showing you are going to work up to 99 in range. At 100 in range, then you encounter an additional phase, and that's sort of beyond the scope of what I'm trying to teach you here as someone who's a casual player just wanting to defeat Zamorak. Get some decent loot. So, in this video, I'm first going to talk about the gear and equipment I'm bringing. I'm also going to talk about my action bars, and then I'm going to do the actual boss fight. There'll be chapters if you want to skip ahead to that. So let's get started. In terms of what I'm bringing a super restore to restore some prayer. I'm bringing some overloads. I'm bringing the infernal puzzle box, which you might already have attached to your tool belt. But this will help my adrenaline to keep draining out of combat, and it also provides some bonuses where you take less damage during parts of the boss fight. Then I'm bringing a whole bunch of sailfish, and I have a spirit pack pig with even more sailfish in it. And then for my armor, as with all these videos, I'm going to do it in tank armor because I think that's the best way to generally learn any boss. So I have the tier 90 Necromancy Death Warden armor, provides some dodge chance. I have some perks on there that are somewhat useful, but are not best in slot by any means. I'm going to bring the defense cape, which gives us an extra life in case we mess up and die. I'm going to bring a scripture. In this case, I'm going to use this one, but you can bring whatever scripture you have. You'll mostly be fighting a single target, so you don't really need area of effect damage. Looks like someone just died here. I'm bringing a nexus with my runes and ectoplasm. I'm bringing a ring of death. That gives us a chance, if we die, to teleport out without having to pay for our death costs. And I'm bringing the tier 95 Omniguard and Soulbound Lantern. And the special attack from the tier 90 weapon is what I have stored in my Essence of Finality. Now during this boss fight, it basically centers around Zamorak he basically has like a shield health bar that you need to deplete. While you're depleting that, you're mostly prayer switching and doing defensives. And then when it's depleted, then you have time where you need to deal a lot of damage quickly to prevent him from using any special attacks ideally, or at least to prevent him from using too many special attacks. So long story short, you need to save up a bunch of damage to deal quickly. So I have an action bar here that summons my conjures, commands my conjures, and generates soul stacks and necrosis stacks. And then consuming all of those things are these are on these bars down here. So I can use death skulls to deal a bunch of damage, consume adrenaline. I can use Death Grasp, that's the special from the tier 90 weapon that I have stored in my Essence of Finality, and that uses all the necrosis stacks to deal a bunch of damage, and then I can stack up 5 souls to deal a bunch of damage there. So basically with these 3 attacks, you should be able to deal enough damage at 0 in rage to skip almost all the mechanics. In the fight, I'm intentionally not going to deal that much damage so that we see the mechanics, so I can teach you how to deal with them should you encounter them at a higher in rage, for example, so you know what to do. But if you deal enough damage, you can skip most of them. I'm also going to be using bloat just to deal some damage. There's one of the mechanics where you can do a stun to trigger it earlier, so we'll probably do that. We could death mark him to finish him off right at the end. We're going to need our protection prayers, either hotkeyed or somewhere where we can click on them easily. Zamorak attacks with melee and ranged. He switches between the two of them, and then he has a special that does melee. We're also going to need devotion. We're going to use it in one of his specials, and we're also going to use immortalities to survive one of his specials. So that's everything that we need along. I'm going to use darkness. If you don't have darkness, you could use vampirism or some other aspect as well. We'll double cast it just to give me more time so I can talk during the fight. Let's do a new encounter. We're going to do in rage mode, but we're going to do 0 on rage. Then we can, once we've defeated him, we can don't have to clear the whole dungeon anymore, we can just teleport. to the boss encounter here. Now is a good time to activate any bonuses. Make sure you have darkness active. If you're using darkness, drink your overload. If you don't have elder overloads, just normal overloads. If you don't have that, extreme necromancy potion will do as well. Then we have these chaos witch channelers. They deal magic damage, so we can pray magic. Just clear them out. And because this is sort of aimed at more casual players, I'm not going to be doing anything fancy. I'm going to be using abilities sort of as I see fit, but I'm going to mostly just allow my revolution bar here to do the work. So there are these 6 runes in the arena. There's a specific order that I was taught how to clear this, so we're going to do it in that order. Basically, each rune gives, when you activate it, gives a bonus to yourself, but also buffs Zamorak. So ideally, you want to do them in an order where the worst mechanics that that the runes activate for him are the ones that you encounter least often. So you do those last, which is what we're going to do. But I'm not going to specifically explain what each one does, except where it affects us directly. Like some of them cause him to push some of his damage through defensive effects, for example. But that doesn't really affect us that much. What affects us is when he adds actual things on the field. So here, this is his temporary, or I don't know, his shield health bar, let's say. We have to deplete that. When he does this, he's attacking with magic. When he does the spiky one, he's attacking with ranged. And then once we've depleted all this, then we can stand on this pad to charge it. And then once that's charged, then we have to damage him for 60k damage very quickly, otherwise he'll start doing specials. So you'll see that in a moment. I'm going to go stand on the pad. I'm going to charge it. We'll do the Death Skulls, send our souls at him. Send our Death Grasp. The thing also charging this also refills your adrenaline, which is nice. Now he said heed my call, which means that he sent a Chaos Witch Channeler to the Infernus, which we can visit, and we need to kill that before we're allowed to charge the next pad. Before we go, we can leave a bloat on him to damage him while we're gone, and then we're going to go deal with that. Here we should anticipate, because they like to stun you, and then we just clear this bitch out. Just like that. Then we can go back. We take damage in there, so we don't want to stay there longer than we need to. So we charge that pad next. The next one we want to charge is this one here. We're going to run over here. Our prayer up. And now for the rest of this fight, instead of dealing a bunch of damage, what you should do is you should just repeat what I just did, repeat that 6 times, and you're golden. Up to 99 in rate, up to 100 in rate, or 99, right? However, what I'm going to do for the rest of the fight is, after charging it, not use any specials, so that I don't deal as much damage, so that we encounter the mechanics, so I can teach you the mechanics. Don't actually do that when you're fighting him. You want to skip the mechanics, of course, but I want to teach them to you so you know what to do should you run into them. So I'm intentionally going to not deal enough damage so that we can see the mechanics that happen.
That's your plan.
So what's going to happen here is going to say, he's going to do a voice line, and then we're going to do melee protection.
This world will burn.
But he hits us with a melee attack, and then he's left some, you can see it here, he's left some smoke. This smoke is basically buffing him for additional damage. So we want to clear that smoke, so we're going to go absorb it by walking over it. And then once you absorb it, then you explode for damage. That's what happened before. It's happening again now, right? You can do defensives if you want to reduce that damage. Main thing, though, is actually make sure you're praying correctly. Right, he said heed my call. So that means we have the next witch in there to deal with. So let's go deal with that. There we go. And he has a series of special attacks. Or like these special mechanics. They happen in a specific order where you encounter each one after the other one. So that's why I know which ones we're gonna have and sort of tell you. You can read up on them on the wiki, but I'm basically just gonna explain how to deal with them. For the next one here, I'm once again not gonna do enough damage so that we see it. He's going to bring us to the Infernus, where we just were. And then he's going to conjure up a massive attack that would one-shot us. And we're going to use Immortality to survive that. And the Overload is gone. Okay. Yeah, so once again, normally you'd want to deal a bunch of damage and skip these specials, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to charge this thing up and deal my normal amount of damage.
This will work, don't you? That
And
old tricks will stop me again.
I'm going to send us to the Infernus.
Into the dark. Meet your death.
Right, so now we need to clear out this demon. And we also need to do... The first thing you do is you attack the... If you don't have enough adrenaline for Immortality, then attack the demon to get enough. If you have... make sure that you get enough. You can drink an adrenaline potion too. Cast Immortality. Finish clearing out the demon. Then his special attack comes in. He's going to execute us, but it's okay because we're immortal. Although actually it seems at 0 and Rage, I didn't even die. The Immortality damage reduction was enough to let me survive. So then what we want to do is we want to walk through where the symbol of our head is. Find Zamorak, deal some more damage to him. Right. Good, so now we're back in the grey health phase. We can heal up. Right, I did Immortality because at higher enrages you need that to survive. I suppose at 0 enrage you can survive with other defensives as well. But Immortality will let you survive at any enrage there. Right, make sure to keep prayer switching correctly. Check to make sure all your stacks and stuff are up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to this pad. And here, this rune causes him to spawn a Protector and a Mender. And this Protector is going to spawn close to him, which means that he takes less damage while you're trying to deal the 60k damage. So if your damage is sort of borderline, this is the rune where you're going to notice it, that you fail to deal enough damage, right? That's where you're going to notice it first. Or if you're pushing a higher enrage, that's where you're going to start failing first. And then what he's going to do is he's going to disable my prayers. Except first, it turns out we need to clear the witch again, which we forgot to do, so let's go do that. He's going to disable my prayers for the special that happens next. And that's why we need devotion to after we re-enable it. I'll explain it. I'll just explain it as I do it. I think that's best. Let's just heal up a bit again. Take some more food from our... build some stacks. Make sure we pray correctly. Alright, let's charge this thing, right? Once again, you'd normally try to do as much damage as possible. However, if you fail, then you should be ready to do devotion and pray magic. So he's going to disable the prayers. As soon as he does that, we're going to click devotion. And then we click magic to re-enable it. And then we, keep dealing damage while this happens. Don't move. You need to stand in this circle until that special is done. Right? That's basically we blocked the special with devotion and magic prayer, and then we stayed in the circle. Then this protector here was the reason that Zamorak is taking less damage, so we clear out the protector. We need to make sure to clear out the witch again in the Infernus. I forgot that last time, so let's go do it now. Do anticipate here again to avoid getting stunned. So clearing out these witches is mandatory. Right? If you're in a group encounter, only one person would have to go do this. My overload is looking... pressure. There's going to be a second thing that was spawned right over here, a Life Weaver, which we should also clear out. Alright, he's basically hitting harder because of all the buffs from the runes at this point, so you have to be more careful with your protection prayers, and you can use defensives if you need to take less damage. Right, so the next mechanic that we're gonna learn about is one where he basically charges up a massive attack. However, this one we can cause him to trigger early by stunning him, so we're going to use a soul for that. And then we just need to deal some damage. We can also, at higher enrages, do immortality to survive that one. Or just if you just want to be safe about it. The other thing that's noteworthy is that once we charge this pad, this causes him to place little traps on the floor, and don't step in those. We're going to anticipate because he also places a trap on the pads, and we don't want to be stunned by it immediately when he does it. I think we're ready to go here. Anticipate? Not freedom, I guess, because I messed up the anticipate. So now once again, we're holding back on the damage so we see his mechanic. Right, and here we want to stun him, smack him, and now we can deal a bunch of damage. At higher enrage, though, we should do immortality to survive that, or we can do that. At low enrage, just stunning him and doing some damage does the trick. Right, we have another witch, so let's go clear her out. I got stunned again, classic, yeah. I'm not praying the right thing, very good. Alright, so he's placed some traps on the arena. There is a way to clear those out, and that is you can walk over close to where the sparkling is, then you get a 30-second buff. And this buff allows you to clear these without activating them. We want to clear the one, specifically the one that's blocking this thing. That's the important one. Alright. So, at less than 100 in rage, we only have to do these 6 things. There's no phase 7. So once we kill him here after this, that'll be the end of the encounter. But we're going to see one more special mechanic in a moment. We charge this thing up. Keep an eye on the prayer switches. So once again, we have to anticipate now because he's going to place more of these traps again. He's going to place another one on this tile that we're standing on right now. And now he makes like a big round rune around himself for this special. And basically there's like a black thing you want to sort of dodge the shadow, otherwise you get stunned. And then you take damage when you're standing here though, so then you want to move back here when it's not there. And then when it's there, you move out of the circle to dodge it. This world will burn. I shouldn't have let him survive that long, so he basically triggered the first special again. So, yeah, for that rune, you can move back and forth, but you should be attacking him, right, so that it's not sitting around forever. And let me just explain. So what happened at the end is basically we encountered two mechanics. We encountered the very first mechanic that we saw again with the melee hit. I didn't pray melee, which is why I took a bunch of damage. Normally, you'd only encounter one of these, one of his specials per rune, because you have some. Usually, that's enough time to deal the damage that you need. So now we can grab our loot. And if you have any rerolls, you could bring them along. Bank your loot. And now if you do 100 Enrage, then you have a phase 7. And I think that's a topic for a different video, because that requires... It requires using a specific combination of defensives to survive. And I'm not so good at that. It's fairly tricky for a casual player. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. Normally the fight isn't as hectic as I just presented it, because you'd be skipping all the mechanics. Like, it would be sort of like the first rune that we did over there, where you just deal 60k damage, go kill the witch, go to the next one, charge it, deal 60k damage, go kill the witch, go to the next one, charge it, deal 60k damage, go kill the witch, and basically you just do that cycle, and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the order that I learned for solving these. They also all have like letters that they correspond to, but just the positions is what I remember. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if there's any other boss you want me to sort of do in this same style with a relatively casual approach to it, let me know. Thanks for watching.